I've always got by with the cheap caulk guns in my life, but then last year I decided to spend some money and I went on Amazon and I found an expensive one for $22, this one right here. So I've been using it for a year, and if you're wondering if it's worth it, watch this video and you'll find out. It's Story Tuesday, roll the intro. In my travels, I've been looking for the cheapest caulk gun I could find, and when I was at Home Depot the last time, I found this one for $327, and I figured you really can't get one much cheaper than that. So I purchased this to see how a brand new one compares to this one right here. The exact price is $22.04, and it's made by the Newborn Company. I think it was around 3 years ago that I built this work corner behind me, and I put all the most popular tools, including a caulk gun, and let me show you what I have over here. So in this work corner right here, I've definitely added some stickers, but I always had this caulk gun right here. So if you take that off, you can just see the outline for that caulk gun. You know, there's really three different reasons why I decided to spend a little more money for a different caulk gun. Number one is I'm really not very good at caulking, and when I've gone around like my shower tub and sinks, things like that, I don't feel like I've ever really done that great of a job. So I want to see if going to something more expensive would give me better results. You know, while I'm on that thought, I do want to mention that I have come across a couple YouTube videos that have shown some ways to get really good results using that green frog painter's tape. So that really doesn't have that much to do with the caulk gun itself. So number two, the reason that I went to get a better caulk gun, late last summer I had the roof on my house reshingled, which I'm so thankful for. And before that time, I used to have to go up there periodically and put this type of stuff down right here. Some roof tar, or blackjack they call it. Some things that would keep it from leaking, so I had to go up there periodically. And with the weather we'd have, sometimes it would contract and expand, and I'd have to go up there where it would split and re-tar it every so often. The roof looked horrible, so now I don't have to worry about that. So I have had some times where I bought some roof tar in a tube like this, and using this older caulk gun right here, that I could barely even squeeze any out. And I just spend time like using this right here, trying to poke it and get more holes in there so I could get it to flow out better, but it just really never seemed to work that well. But now I've realized on some of the better caulk guns, you have different thrust ratios. So like this one right here that I just bought, this has a 6:1 thrust ratio, where this one right here has an 18:1 thrust ratio. And you'll see later in this video what I'm talking about. So I felt like every so often a tube like this would go to waste because I couldn't use it, and this caulk gun right here was actually costing me money. So that was the number two reason why I decided to upgrade. And the other thing that I'm seeing standard on most caulk guns is this puncture seal and this spout cutter right here. So I want to see on a better one like this if it works any better, because sometimes I get some pretty lousy results with this, trying to do the cutting at least. So we're going to see how these compete against each other in that category. So now we're going to test the built-in features on each caulk gun, showing how the spout cutter works and then how the seal breaking rod works. So the spout cutter we're going to try out first on the Newborn, the $22 one. So it seems like I can only put it in at that angle right there, and it pulled pretty easy, pretty effortless, and it did a pretty decent job, giving me a fairly decent angle right there. I could probably get a little cleaner job with the utility knife, but that's going to work for me. And now we're going to try the $3 HDX model right here, seeing how it will cut the spout. So when I'm pulling it through there, it looks like it has a nice cutting knife. So from what I can see, it looks like it's going to work. So now I'm putting it in there, trying to get a little bit of an angle. I don't like the tip cut straight off. So we're trying to just figure this out, how this is going to work, and give it the same pull. And look at that, it just kind of bent it around. Tried it a few times. Let's try it again. Trying to cut a little bit less off, and it just kind of mangled the tip. So on the $3 one, you're really going to have to just use a utility knife. So to clean up that mess, this is what I'm doing right here. It didn't really come out that great, but utility knife, I just have to take a little more off than I planned on. And now when it comes to the seal puncture rod, you can see how far that goes in with the $3 HDX. Just enough to puncture that seal that's right inside there. Now we're going to compare it to the other one. And then on the $22 one, you can see that has a puncture seal rod that will go about another inch, inch and a half or so. So that just helps to open things up just a little better. Just the other day, I came across this stuff right here for a project. It's a non-sag sealant, and this stuff is really thick. So I was trying to enclose a vertical surface, and I didn't want something to drip down, so I used that non-sag sealant, and I used this caulk gun right here, which it felt like it was going to break the handle. I actually thought the tube was bad. I was going to almost return the tube, and then realized that this caulk gun just didn't have the proper ratio to get anything to come out. So now I'm going to try it again. You can just see how slow that stuff. It's just really thick, and I'm squeezing like crazy to try to get it to come out, and it's barely coming out. So now I have the same thick sealant in the HDX one, the $3 one, and this definitely is easier to squeeze and get it to come out. I do have to put some effort into it for sure. It's just a lot of tension. I got to push my thumb really hard on that to get it to release. Okay, now we're going to try the same stuff in the newborn model. Okay, here we go. Definitely is a lot easier. You can just see how it's flowing right out. And then to release it at the end, to keep it from dripping, you can just see not nearly as much tension built up there. So you can see that this caulk gun works really well on those things that are thicker, the higher viscosity items. I just want to show you this demonstration right here, how this stuff works. This is the first time in my life, just last week, that I use this, and it's just amazing. It just sticks and holds. It's amazing. I think it's mostly made for like concrete type stuff. So we're going to just test it out and see how it works on the inside corner, doing some caulking. So we've got the $22 one right here, and it just seems like it's a little slower going, but it's smooth and steady, doing a decent job there. All right, so this looks like it's coming out a little bit faster, and I'm going a little bit of a faster pace, but it looks like it does a nice clean job right there. So when it comes to caulking, inside corners, things like that, they compete pretty close to each other. One of the tests I thought I'd put this through is to see how much we can get out in one single pull. So the way that I thought I would test it is I'll use my food scale right here. It's set to grams, and I will do 3 pulls. I'll try to do them all at the same pace, and then we'll divide that by 3 so we'll get the average of the 3. That way it'll be as fair as possible. So in case there's any like little bubbles in there, 1 pull versus 1 pull may not be as accurate as 3 pulls. So this tube right here is ready to go. I'm going to just take a little bit out to start with, and on my scale right here I have to hit tare, so it's set to 0. So let me get this all primed and ready to go. Let's go slowly. There's 1, there's 3, there. 47 grams. And then the number 2 test is with the HDX. I think we're gonna get more. Oh wow, there's definitely a lot more in a single pull. 1, 3, definitely, obviously a lot more. So 148 grams for the orange. All right. That is a night and day difference between the two. So if you're gonna go through a lot in a short time, this works well. If you're gonna go slow and careful, or you need that extra power, then this one's gonna be a good choice. Let's take a look at the 2 side by side. So there's definitely a lot more weight to this right here. This is approximately 31 ounces, where this is only 14 ounces. So this is really lightweight. One thing I found when I'm working on a roof, if you use roof tar, it's inevitable that this stuff's gonna get on you. So I often, when I empty this, I like to just kind of throw this in the mulch somewhere. And then this right here, if I can like throw it down like on a bush or something like that, somewhere where it's not gonna do damage to anything, and I don't have to worry about carrying this and getting extra tar on my hands, because sometimes you get some in there. This is lightweight. I probably would carry this one down just because this is heavier and I don't want to risk this getting damaged or this doing damage to any of the bushes. So these both have a smooth rod to it. Some of the older models, you might see notches in it. I don't really see those around as much anymore, but that's what I used to have, and you used to have to spin them around to release them. But as far as I know, they have pretty much gone to this design right here. And just to clarify, these are both for the smaller, the 10-ounce tubes. All right, so then when it comes to the thrust ratio, the higher the number, the more power that you're gonna get. So this has a 18:1 thrust ratio. This has a 6:1 thrust ratio. Then as far as where these are manufactured, they're both made in China. So as far as the reviews on the Home Depot website, this has a 3.8 with 83 people. And on the Amazon website, this has 4.7 with 469 people reviewing it. Then I thought you might be interested just hearing what these sound like, pulling the trigger a few times without anything in them, just so you can kind of see like the smoothness and the sound it makes. And now this one. All right, so my conclusion, I do find that the $3 one does a pretty decent job for the most part. The one thing is I'd probably get my own utility knife for cutting the tip. This one didn't really seem to work at all. So that was like my biggest complaint, but it did seem to be able to move some of the really difficult things like the no sag sealant, which this other one right here, I thought I was gonna break the handle on this fiberglass unit right here. This one could just barely even move it. I actually thought I was gonna have to return the tube when I first bought it because I tried it with this. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna have to go out and get this one right here, and then it just was like a night and day difference. So I do have to say, for $3, you know, this is quite impressive. You know, you can't even buy lunch for $3. And to get something like this that could last years and years and years, I think that's quite a bargain. $3, that's pretty amazing, you have to say. And then the $22 newborn model. This one I really like. It just has a lot of power. It is definitely a little bit heavier, but that for me really isn't that big of an issue. I guess if I'm going up on the roof or a ladder all the time, then I may want to go with something lighter like this if I'm concerned about the weight. But for me, the extra weight, even though this is probably like twice the weight, it's not something that I noticed that's an issue. So in the back corner right here, you're gonna see this caulk gun right here. They'll be hanging up there unless I'm using it around the house and forgot to put it back. Otherwise, this is definitely my go-to. So I haven't tried any battery-powered caulk guns yet, so I'm really not sure what to expect with those. Maybe I'll look into getting some, so let me know if you'd like to see those. Put a comment down below. So I have a question for you guys. Which one would you choose? So if I left something out, you have any more questions about these two, please let me know down below what you think, and I will have a link to each one in case you'd like to find out a little bit more about them or read some more reviews. So if you find this video review interesting, informative, and helpful, please give it a thumbs up and help support my channel. That's it, friends. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.